In just a few short minutes, the words of a retired professor brought countless older adults to tears. It was not because he said anything tragic, but because what he said was true, so incredibly true, that it echoed the silent feelings many elderly people have always carried, yet never once put into words. Old age is often thought of as a time to rest, to slow down, and to find peace. But in reality, many continue to live with a sense of emptiness, of being forgotten, or even feeling lost in their own lives. They quietly ask themselves, do I still matter? Is there any real meaning to keep going like this? Or how can I enjoy growing old without becoming a burden? In this video, we are going to listen to some honest and deeply thoughtful advice from a man who spent his entire life in academia. But only when he entered his twilight years did he truly learn how to live fully for himself. Before we begin, take a moment to leave a positive message for yourself in the comments below, something like, I deserve a peaceful and loving old age. Or feel free to write any affirmation you want to plant into your life, like a promise to yourself. And if you think this video might touch the heart of someone you care about, do not hesitate to share it. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss out on more uplifting messages that can make your later years and the later years of others a little lighter and warmer every single day. And now let us listen to each piece of advice, not with logic alone, but with our hearts. Who knows? Maybe there is something here you need to hear the most at this very stage of your life. Number 1. Keep your personal finances private. There are things in life we do not keep to ourselves out of fear or mistrust, but because we understand holding on to something privately is sometimes a way to protect our peace. Personal finances are one of those things. When your children grow up and have their own families, everything in your life often becomes something to be discussed together. That is not necessarily wrong, but if you talk too much or overshare about money, you might unintentionally blur the personal boundaries that you still need. You do not have to list out every savings account, pension fund, or bank balance, because when others know too much, unnecessary thoughts can start to form. Your children might never say it out loud, but deep down they may start to calculate, even just a little, that you can handle a bit more, or that you do not really need any help. And suddenly you are no longer seen as a parent to be cherished, but more like a wallet to be tapped. No one wants that. But in reality, it often stems from the smallest things. Keeping a part of your finances to yourself is not selfish. It is what helps you feel in control. Feel like you still have choices, and that you are still the one living your own life, not living the way others think is appropriate. Just say, I am doing fine. I have enough. Sometimes those simple words are enough to ease your children's minds and help you keep your own little space of freedom. Hold on to a bit of privacy so your heart stays unburdened and the days ahead can be a little more relaxed. Because in the end, growing old is about living lightly and truthfully with yourself, not about proving anything to anyone. Number 2, do not become a full-time babysitter. Here is a delicate truth that needs to be spoken. Many older adults, after their children get married, almost immediately become unofficial babysitters. They do not speak up to say no because they feel guilty, they love their grandchildren, or they think, well, I have free time, helping them out is the right thing to do. But they forget one important truth. Old age is a time for rest, not the beginning of a brand new full-time job, especially one that is unpaid, has no days off, and often goes unappreciated. Loving your grandkids is only natural. No grandparent can resist a tiny face looking up with a smile. But love does not mean sacrificing everything from your health, your time, even the last chapter of your life. Taking care of grandchildren full-time, running around every day like when you were raising your own kids, can leave you physically and emotionally exhausted. Many people skip meals, lose sleep, even stop going for health checkups just to help their children. They forget about themselves, forget that they too deserve love, care, and real rest. Help your children with love, but also with awareness. When you care for your grandchild because it brings you joy because you want to, that is affection. But if you do it because you are afraid to say no, or they have no one else, or you feel more at ease doing it yourself, you are placing yourself in an unfair position. And over time, that imbalance wears down respect and gratitude between generations. Be honest with your children. You are happy to help when needed, but you also need time for yourself. Old age is not the time to start a role you did not choose. It is the time to live peacefully, gently, to love, to enjoy, and to take care of yourself. Number 3, do not overwork yourself. When we are young, we might burn our health for success recognition or to provide for our family. But in old age, the cost of pushing too hard is no longer just temporary fatigue. It becomes a quiet warning from your body. Many older adults still think, as long as I can work, I should do a bit more, or if I sit around, I feel useless. But what they forget is that age changes how the body recovers. One sleepless night can lead to a full week of exhaustion. One day of overexertion might turn into a month in the hospital. Working is fine if it brings you joy and keeps you alert. But if you are working just out of habit, out of a need to feel useful, or simply because you do not know how to stop, you are putting yourself at real risk. Give yourself permission to rest without guilt. Learn to listen to your body when it needs to relax, when your legs need to sit, and when your mind needs a day without effort. No one is judging you for doing less than before, and you no longer need to prove anything. The greatest success in life is not about what you squeeze out in moments of exhaustion. It is about knowing when to stop so you can live longer, stay healthier, and feel more at peace. Number 4, do not rush into remarriage if you are living alone. After a major life change, a breakup, or the loss of a spouse, many older adults feel such a deep emptiness that they want to quickly find someone new to share their life with. Loneliness sometimes does not come from being alone, but from having no one to truly listen or share your feelings with. But be careful with that feeling, because not all loneliness should be filled with a new relationship. Remarrying at this age is not like when you were young. You no longer have the time to experiment, the energy to change for someone, or the mental space to tolerate unnecessary conflict. When two people from two different worlds come together later in life, all the differences, habits, spending styles, life values can become reasons for stress rather than happiness. There are people who live alone yet feel completely at peace. They have freedom in their own space, sleep when they want, eat what they love, and carry no one else's emotional baggage. They do not feel lacking because they have learned to fulfill themselves through friendships, passions, and inner calm. And then there are people who remarry but find themselves not any less lonely, only more anxious. Differences in routines, financial arguments, or simply feeling like you are putting up with someone instead of being loved, these things can wear you down. If you feel truly happy having someone by your side, open your heart, but do not rush. Let time reveal the truth. Let understanding lead the way, not fear of being alone. Number 5, hold on to your home. There are houses that are not spacious, not new, not modern, but they hold a lifetime within their walls. Every little corner carries memories of love, the sound of children's laughter on quiet afternoons, late nights spent waiting for someone to come home, and rainy days where you simply sat in silence, listening to life slow down. As people grow older, many start thinking about selling the house, downsizing, moving in with their children, or going into assisted living for convenience. But before making that decision, ask yourself, are you truly ready to leave the space where your heart belongs? A house, even an old one, is still a place where you can be your true self. It is where no one judges you, where you are not a guest, where you do not have to carry any weight for others. It is a place where you can walk as slowly as you like, speak as much or as little as you want, and still feel like you belong. It is where you have loved, stood at the window with quiet wishes. Keeping your home is not always about the property. It is about the roots that keep you grounded in a world that is constantly changing. It is the memories you can touch every day. It is the familiarity that reminds you that you are still living in a world that cares about you. Do not rush to leave the place you once called home, just because you think you can start over somewhere new. Because sometimes true peace does not come from the location, it comes from the feeling of returning to the place where you once meant everything. Number 6, do not expect too much after your children get married. One of the greatest challenges for parents as they age is learning how to step back. Not because you are no longer important, but because it is time for your children to live their own lives, free from the weight of your expectations. We raise our children, love them, sacrifice for them, so it is easy to fall into the belief, I know what is best for them. But the truth is, everyone has their own path, and what seems best in your eyes may not be what actually makes them happy. When your children get married, you can still offer advice, but remember, advice only carries value when it comes without pressure. We can hope they live with kindness, are loved deeply, and have a peaceful family life. But we cannot control how they choose to love, live, or build their home. A lot of heartache comes from expectations left unmet. They do not take care of us like they used to. My daughter-in-law is not what I hoped for. My son listens to his wife more than he listens to me. These thoughts quietly build up, turning into distance. But if we look closer, the disappointment often comes not because our children were wrong, but because we were expecting them to live by our imagination. Choose to trust your children. Trust that even if they fall, they will learn to stand up. Trust that even if they choose a path different from yours, they are still doing their best to live well. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It is giving them the right to truly grow. The greatest love sometimes does not come in advice. It comes in silent understanding. It is in the gentle look you give when they make a decision you would not have made. It is in the quiet nod that tells them, we are always here, but you have the right to live life your way. Number 7, do not argue with your spouse. After so many years together, after facing all of life's ups and downs, the most valuable thing to keep in a marriage at this stage is not about being right or wrong, it is about peace. At this age, no one has the energy for loud arguments. There is no strength left for days of silent anger. And more than anything, there is nothing more precious than a calm afternoon spent together in quiet, but with hearts at ease. Your partner at some point is no longer someone to convince, to debate, or to prove yourself to. They are the one you have chosen to lean on, the familiar face you see every morning, the shoulders that stood beside you through life's storms. So if something bothers you, speak gently. If your temper rises, breathe before you speak. Because what you say to relieve your frustration might be something they carry in their heart all night long. No one wins an argument, especially when both of you are already tired. You might win a point, but lose the warmth at dinner. You might be right, but lose the connection. Sometimes a gentle hand squeeze or a quiet let it go is all it takes to bring peace back. Remember, the time we have left is not as long as we think. If you still have someone to sit with, to drink tea, to listen to music, to talk, or even to sit in silence, that is already something to cherish deeply. Do not let small things overshadow great love. Do not let distance begin from the place that should feel closest. And after all those profound pieces of advice, there are smaller things, subtle reminders, that if you pay attention, can have a big impact on the way you live. Here are 3 quiet but powerful messages that may change your perspective on growing older. Number 1, 3 things you should never interfere with. First, your children's decisions about buying a house or a car. With age comes experience, and it is easy to think we know what is reasonable or the right choice. But do not forget, your children need to learn through their own decisions. Maybe they buy a house that is too far away, or a car that costs too much. But that is their life, not yours. Let them take responsibility and grow into adulthood fully. The more you interfere, the more you become the driver of a car that no longer has a seat for you. Second, the past and family matters. Everyone has the right to keep part of their life private, even from relatives. If something from the past no longer brings value to the present, it is better left alone. Do not reopen old stories with your children or grandchildren. Do not dig up family matters that have already been settled. These things only make hearts heavier. Choose silence at the right time to preserve ease and peace in your relationships. Third, your friends' marriages. It may seem harmless, a few comments, a little sympathy, but marriage is something no one truly understands except the people living in it. No matter how close you are, do not get involved unless they come to you directly and ask to share. Be a friend, not a judge. Sometimes what you think is helpful might actually hurt someone who is barely holding on to something fragile. Number 2. 3 kinds of loans you should be very cautious about. First, only lend money in cases of natural disaster or serious illness. These are true emergency circumstances beyond someone's control, where your help could genuinely make a difference. When close friends or family are in such need, you can help within your means with compassion, but always keep a safety net for yourself. Because if you give everything and later face a crisis of your own, who will be there to help you? Second, never lend money for financial investments. No matter how promising the return sounds, it always comes with risk. You may trust the borrower, but you cannot control the market or predict what will happen. And if things do not go as planned, it is not just your money that disappears, it could be your relationship too. Do not gamble years of trust on the hope of short-term profit. Third, do not lend to anyone who struggles with addiction or has a gambling habit. This is a line you must not cross. No matter how much you care, the money you give might become fuel for a destructive cycle. And sometimes your willingness to help only delays their need to truly change. Number 3. 3 common mistakes older adults often fall into. First, damaging your health by pushing beyond your limits. Many seniors still think, if I can still do it, I should. Or if I can help someone, I must. But they forget your body is not what it used to be. What feels small today could become a real health issue tomorrow. Lifting heavy things, traveling long distances, staying up late, or skipping meals, these all carry real risks now. Taking care of your health is not selfish, it is a responsibility to yourself and to the people who still love you. Second, making poor relationship choices out of loneliness. Loneliness can make us open our hearts to people we should not. Some people do not come with genuine care, they come for what they think they can get. Whether it is friendship or romance, let time reveal the truth. Do not give your full trust based on a few kind words. Because getting hurt at this stage in life does not just sting, it is much harder to heal from. Third, helping others in unclear, indirect ways that lack control. For example, letting someone use your name to borrow money, putting property under your name for someone else, or holding on to something for them. These things may sound harmless, but they carry big risks. If something goes wrong, the one held responsible is you. And sadly, the very people you try to help are sometimes the first to turn their backs when things fall apart. Old age is a time to live gently, slowly, but also wisely. Because just being older does not automatically mean we stop making mistakes, especially those that come from having too much heart. When we are young, we live to conquer, to build, to prove ourselves. But at a certain age, what we truly need is no longer recognition or external success, but peace within, calm in every breath, and the freedom to simply be ourselves without having to carry anything heavy on our shoulders. Growing old is not something to fear. What is frightening is not knowing how to enjoy it, not knowing how to let go of what needs to be let go, and not knowing how to hold on to what truly matters. No matter how off-track life may have felt starting today, you still have the right to live more lightly. Light with yourself. Light with the past. Light with the expectations that once wore you down. Learn to say no to what hurts you and say yes to what brings you joy. Because in the end, what you leave behind is not just money or wisdom, it is the way you lived. Whether you lived with kindness, with compassion, and with enough love for yourself. And if something in this video made your heart grow quiet, even just for a moment, then share that with me. Leave a comment below as a small promise to yourself today. For example, I choose peace. The rest of my life belongs to me. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so we can continue this journey together. Not just through words of advice, but through every little step of living beautifully as we age. Let us build a community together where everyone, no matter their age, feels heard, feels valued, and feels truly alive.